very hard difficulty. That should answer the question of how this will be at least a bit of a challenge. So recently, a friend showed me a mod that tanks New Vegas's resolution and makes it look like it came out in the early 2000s. With that, and another mod that lets me move the position of weapons in first person, I immediately thought about the original Doom games and asked myself the question, can I beat Fallout New Vegas as the Doomslayer? Also, I'll leave a link in the description to both of the mods I used for this playthrough. Now, the rules for this quote unquote challenge are simple enough. I can use weapons the Slayer has used. I'm mostly sticking to Doom 2's arsenal. These weapons include my fists, a chainsaw, a 9mm pistol, a hunting shotgun, the sawed-off shotgun, a plasma rifle, a minigun, and a missile launcher. Some are self-explanatory, others a bit less. I would have preferred using a 10mm pistol personally instead of the 9, but the model is based on a toy Beretta 92, which is chambered in 9mm, even though New Vegas' 9mm is a Browning high power, but whatever. The plasma rifle is also a bit of a tough choice because the plasma rifle in Doom acts more like a laser rifle in Fallout, and their appearance is a little bit more similar. But honestly, it didn't really matter because I barely used it. Using the missile launcher rather than the rocket launcher is pretty simple. I didn't want to go play a lonesome road. As for armor, I wasn't going to restrict myself too much, but my goal was to get a suit of reinforced combat armor since it's the most green. The last bit of a challenge, which isn't really much of a rule, but just kind of something I was going to stick to, was that I, for the most part, would be resolving any and all conflicts through violent methods. With all that out of the way, let's begin. I wake up in Doc Mitchell's house and give myself the only correct name, and make myself look like the most generic angry guy I could. I was unable to read what my specials were, but I'll give you the most accurate rundown I can. I put 10 points into strength because I need it to wield the minigun, and I put a 9 in agility, endurance, and luck. The rest all remained at 1, though if I did have more points, I would have put them into intelligence, since the Slayer is definitely not an idiot. I answered the quiz as closely as I'd think the Slayer would. The skills chosen, though, were wildly off. So, in their stead, I tag energy weapons, explosives, and repair so that all my weapon-based skills were around 30. Even though I should have tagged guns instead of energy weapons. For traits, I take Built to Destroy and Unskilled, since I thought they'd both be helpful. First thing I do is go to Chet's and sell what I didn't need, which ended up being all my weapons, because not tagging guns meant I wasn't given a 9mm pistol from Doc Mitchell. I go to the saloon and repair the radio for the caps. I try to punch Joe Cobb to death, but his armor and my low unarmed skill meant I was dealing next to no damage. So off to Prim I went and searched for someone's weapons I could permanently borrow. Oh, hi, Mark.
Smokes again. I'm hell! Murder!
Here you see me adjusting the position of the weapon with the mod, and I think I did a pretty decent job. I go to Johnson Nash to buy any of the ammo or weapons I'd need, but he had absolutely nothing. On my way to Hidden Valley, I kill some powder gangers and reach level 2. I bring my energy weapons, explosives, and repair to 30 and put the remaining points into guns. For my perk, I take Rapid Reload. I wanted to take Swift Learner to negate the drawbacks from Skilled, but I forgot that it requires 4 intelligence. I arrive in Hidden Valley and start making my way towards Vegas. I also dealt with the little bark scorpions who went down in 2 shots. Oh shit. I had to run, but I slipped past the scorpions to mark the El Dorado substation for later. I also marked the 188 trading post because I was going to be coming back here a lot. I made my way up to New Vegas, but I was passing it and going further north for something. I also watched some West Side militia try to fight a single fiend. I make it to the Horowitz farmstead, one of the most northern parts of the map, to collect the hunting shotgun that's just sitting in the back of this truck. And I use my weapon repair kits to patch it up. I put it to work immediately by dealing with the vipers on the farm. I go to the gun runners and buy all the ammo they had there, and I make my way into Freeside and kill Horus. I didn't do the Quing. Oh my god. I didn't do the Quing. I didn't do the King's quest line, so I really had no reason to do so. But I reached level 3 and put the points in the guns. Next stop was the Van Graff, so I could get a free plasma rifle I'll never use. I get hired as security and chose the plasma rifle as my weapon, and when this incredibly trustworthy fellow showed up, I let him in without question.
We're supposed to pat everyone down. Didn't you hear that part of my instructions? Oh shit.
Someone must have left the oven on. I killed Simon to finish off the Van Graffs, and now I kind of want to explain more in depth why I didn't use the plasma rifle. All my other weapons were better. Since I was raising my gun skill, their damage was going up, but my energy weapons remained incredibly low, and I wasn't going to be raising it very soon, so all other weapons were just better to use instead of it. I go to the strip and into the tops, not to kill Benny, though I do get the XP from completing the quest and reach level 4, putting the points in the guns and taking intense training to max out my luck. The reason I was here was to gamble. Not really something the Slayer would do, but I needed caps, so I got myself banned from all 3 casinos on the strip, and made myself about 30,000 caps from them. But now that I had no need for the tops, it was about time my first purge of the day began. As you can also see, I picked up a sawed-off shotgun from one of the chairmen I killed, so I've already got half of my arsenal collected. All the carnage made me level up twice, and I put the points into guns, and I take the shotgun surgeon perk. I'm approached by Volpez and give him the only thing he deserves. I go to the New Vegas Medical Clinic and pick up the Endurance, Agility, and Subdermal Armor implants, which costed me about 16,000 caps. That's why I need it so much, especially when the rest of it will be going towards ammo and repairs. Speaking of ammo, I go to the 188 and speak with Alexander to buy ammo and a mod for the hunting shotgun. I did get the extended mag tube for the Battle of Hoover Dam, I just couldn't find the footage, so keep that in mind if you see the shotgun has 8 shells in it at some point. I returned to Hidden Valley for a few reasons. First, I wanted to collect the holotape off the Dead Brotherhood of Steel Paladin. Secondly, I was going up Black Mountain, going through the door and collecting Tabitha's high-res key from under the stairs so that I could go kill her and complete the crazy quest. Doing so lets me level up twice and max out my guns, and I take the Bloody Mess perk because, obviously, why wouldn't I? The last reason I came here was to collect Annabelle, the unique missile launcher from the Nightkin on the radio tower. I collect it, as well as a few more missiles for it, and I get to watch Bloody Mess do its thing. I also adjusted the missile launcher's position, and I think I did a pretty good job on this one too. The next weapon on my shopping list was the minigun, and I knew exactly where I was going to get one. I wish I found a different place though. I head to Vault 34 to collect the weapons in the Vault's armory. I wasn't too concerned for the ghouls since they're usually quite weak, but I made a slight oversight and forgot that some of these ghouls are wearing armor, as well as seemingly having a little bit more health than average. That could also be just the difficulty. The glowing ones were much more deadly too, but luckily enough I was able to clear the vault out through the power of cheese. To kill the ghoulified overseer, I just went to the door that I entered in to get to his area, and repeatedly entered the room, using VATS to get 2 or 3 shots on him, and then leaving the room. Rinse and repeat until I kill him and the other ghouls. I reach level 3 and put... what? I reached level 9 and put the points into explosives since I was wanting the missile launcher to deal more damage. I entered the armory, which had a massive stockpile of weapons, including a couple snipers, grenade launchers, a missile launcher, so, and of course the minigun. I repositioned it to get that nice center screen look, and then redid it later when I wasn't in a dark cave. I do more shopping to get ammo for all my weapons, because I used quite a bit of it in the vault. Now I felt comfortable doing some of the main story and side stuff. I returned to Goodsprings to help with the Powder Gangers. I kill Joe Cobb. Speak with Ringo, then with Sonny, and back to Ringo, so I could deal with the rest of the Powder Gangers that were coming.
They killed!
They weren't much of a threat. Shocker. I also got attacked afterwards by the townsfolk. Not sure why, though. All I did was kill Chet. Next pit stop was Prim, where I clear out the convicts from the hotel and reach the double-digit level. The points go into explosives, and for the perk I take and stay back for the crowd control potential it offered. I also decided I'd purge the rest of the Powder Ganger scum from the face of the earth. Next, I went to Mojave Outpost to collect the quests from Rangers Jackson and Ghost. On my way to the highway, I saw a rad scorpion trapped in the ground, and I put it out of its misery. But instead, I accidentally sent it to the Shadow Realm. I also got the Lord Death perk from killing a different rad scorpion. Frankly, I'm surprised it took this long. I used high explosive missiles to remove the ants from the ecosystem, and reached level 11 after killing some raiders. Second verse, same as the first, all the points go into explosives. I arrive in Nipton and finally start to understand what the boomers feel. For some reason, killing and looting the people that attacked Nipton didn't progress the quest objective, but I was fortunate enough that speaking with boxcars did, so lucky me. I returned to the Mojave Outpost to turn in both quests to the designated rangers. I needed more caps, so I went off to Goodsprings Cemetery to collect the snow globe there. I also collected the one at the Old Mormon Fort, Nellis, Hoover Dam, and Lucky 38 when I was in those areas. I go to Boulder City. And help the NCR deal with the Great Khans.
Found you.
I also tried on Jessup's bandana, but that's more of a snake thing. I also turned in the quest to bring Lotta Prim with the NCR. Could have done that a while ago, but hey, whatever. I think now was a good time to start meeting the factions, and first up on the chopping block were the boomers. I used the cover of the destroyed houses to get past the barrage, and am led into Nellis. The single largest mistakes the boomers will ever make, because I had no interest in helping them with their silly little plane. This lets me reach level 12 and increase my explosives to 72 and take the Demolitions Expert perk for increased damage from the missile launcher. I returned to the Lucky 38 to turn in the snow globes for 10,000 caps. I did have to give Mr. House the Platinum chip and have him upgrade Securitrons, but that wouldn't matter for much longer. Destroying an economic empire lets me reach level 13 and put more points into my explosives. I go and buy more ammo and healing supplies at all my favorite vendors. I must be their #1 customer by now. I also get my minigun and hunting shotgun repaired by Major Knight. Now, as some of you may have realized, I'm still missing a weapon from my arsenal. The old reliable chainsaw. And I know exactly who I could borrow it from. When chainsaw in hand, that I'll barely use, I pay Violet, Cook, and Driver Nafai a visit to see if their life insurance is covered. I reach level 14 and put more points towards explosives alongside taking the second rank of Demolitions Expert. I speak with Colonel Hsu to turn in Motor Runner's helmet and Major Daughtry to turn in a pile of red mulch. The next faction I was going to meet were the Khans, but on my way to Red Rock I was attacked by Legion assassins that actually managed to do their job for once. Second time round, I managed to deal with them now that I was prepared. I arrive in Red Rock and enter the Longhouse to have a civil discussion with Papa Khan. Just kidding. Purging the bikers lets me reach level 15 and max out my explosives. Speaking of purging, there are some people on the strip that I have an incredibly high hatred of that I felt like visiting.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna
Now
make
it's
military
on.
out.
Fun fact, a two-piece suit provides a little protection against multiple gunshot wounds at an incredibly high rate of fire. Now the Emerdas could have posed slight threats since they wielded some pretty decent firepower. The White Gloves, on the other hand, think that a cane can protect them from a crazy man with an incredibly high pain tolerance and an obsession with guns. I reach level 16 and start increasing my repair, alongside taking hit the deck so that I don't accidentally blow myself up. Again. I reunite the Gunderson family and remove one of the strip's main food sources. The final faction on my checklist was the Brotherhood of Steel, who I intended not to destroy for once. I gladly go and find Dobson for them, but I entered the wrong bunker, and on my way out, I got jumped by a small family of rad scorpions. I kinda hope these are the same ones from earlier, because they got their comeuppance. I enter the right bunker this time, and couldn't find Dobson, even after waiting till night. He never showed up. I was a bit disappointed, but I just read his journal and smashed his radio so I could still get the positive end of the objective, even if it wouldn't make a difference. I return to McNamara, who's happy with my work, and now I'm tasked with retrieving the Brotherhood holotapes. I return to Nellis to collect the one off the dead paladin, and then I do the same with the one at the Repcon headquarters.
Third floor access is for executives only. Please identify. Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
I return to McNamara, and now my objective is to check up on the living Brotherhood members. I speak with the one near the NCR Correctional Facility, then with the one outside of Nipton.
I hope nothing happens on my watch. I'm too damn tired to fight back right now.
And finally, I speak with the one near Camp Forlorn Hope. Returning to McNamara, my next objective is to fix the ventilation in the bunker. To do so, I need to collect parts from different vaults around the wasteland. First, I go to Vault 3, which I had already cleared out, and next was Vault 11, that just had rats and mantises infesting the area. Vault 22, which is one of my personal favorites, by the way, took a little longer to clear out, mostly because I forgot what I was supposed to do. But I got the part in the end. I return all the pieces to Knight Lorenzo and complete the Brotherhood's main quest, but I decided I'd do the quest to join their ranks anyways. The objective is simple, I just need to go to Black Mountain and mess with the radio signal. This is also where I had a discussion with my friends on whether or not I should be allowed to use power armor, since I'd argue the Praetorian armor is pretty similar in some aspects. But I ended up not using any because, as was pointed out to me, I'm mostly inspiring this run on the Doom 1 and 2 Slayer, and not the modern Slayer. And in those original games, he is just wearing standard military combat armor. So it looks like I'm stuck with good old green. Anyways, I fill with the thing, return to the Elder Man, and get some useless training. So I feel it's about time I talk about who I'll be siding with. And it should be obvious, from the way I dealt with most of the factions, that I'd be hanging out with Yes Man this time around. I get him to upload himself in the house's very empty servers and turn in all of the faction quests. Which means that the next thing I need to go do is go to the Eldorado substation, and I plug the thing into the thing or something. On my way to my next little pit stop, I reach level 18, where I put the points into repair and take the Stonewall perk. The pit stop that I was speaking of involved paying a visit to a certain man named after a pizza franchise. Because as far as I am concerned, each and every one of them is scum of the earth and should be treated as such. As for Caesar, I led him and his Praetorians out with the enticing heat of a missile to the face. I drop down the lead, take out my minigun, wait for them to all line up, and give him the ol' I do a little bit of cosplaying, and then go replenish my ammo I spent on the Legion. I also remember that I should go back to the fort and upgrade the Securitron army for the hell of it. But with all that out of the way, I speak with Yes Man to start the Battle of Hoover Dam. Unsurprisingly, I deal with the Legion effortlessly. If the ones at the fort weren't a problem, these ones wouldn't be any different. I go into the dam and deal with the 2 NCR heavies, and then proceed to upload Yes Man to the dam servers, and start up the Securitron army waiting for me. I head back topside and deal with the Legionnaires that attack me, and enter the Laggots camp, dealing with the enemies there that attack me. Take a few performance-enhancing drugs before starting the fight with the Laggot. I die quite a few times in my first attempts, mostly due to my own idiocy. I kept going out into the open where the Legion veterans wielding carbines could just pick me off from on top of the cliffside. As you can also see, I needed to change into some Legion armor I collected at the fort because my combat armor got destroyed. Oopsie. But with a new strategy in mind, I retry the fight and deal with all the enemies effortlessly. I stayed back, dealing with the Lagan until he retreated, and then focused on his 2 Praetorian guards. By the time the Lagan returned, I was able to quickly deal with him and turn my attention to the veterans that have started pushing up to me. With that done, I make my way to the gate, which I thought wouldn't pose any threat, but lucky me, I get repeatedly decimated by the Rangers' trail carbines over and over again. I got lucky enough on one attempt where they either missed most of their shots, or their focus was turned towards the Securitrons long enough for me to survive. But with all ever dead, I speak with Yes Man, and successfully beat Fallout New Vegas as the Doomslayer. I mean, obviously you can beat the game as the Doomslayer. You can beat any game if you tried playing it as a perpetually angry, nigh-immortal demigod. That's not me saying I didn't have fun. I had an absolute blast, in a figurative and literal way. Something I didn't show too much in the video, mostly for the sake of pacing, was that I did die a fair few times, so I wasn't necessarily breezing through the game, especially near the start, but it was fun to mess around with some mods. Again, I'll leave a link in the description to the mods, and for the mod that pixelates the game, I personally recommend lowering your graphics to make it look even more retro. Just make sure you keep your render distance up high so that enemies don't magically appear in front of you. Anyways, I'll be working on a more traditional challenge video next. Still gonna stick with New Vegas for a bit. unless there are any video ideas you'd want to suggest to me, whether it's for New Vegas, another Fallout game, or a completely different franchise. But with all that said and done, I'm grateful to you for watching till the end, and would ask for you to consider liking or subscribing if you enjoyed. With that all out of the way, I hope you have a good week.